I'm Chris Lawrence with your top stories in North Texas. A judge ordered rapper Pooh Shiesty to remain in federal custody as the kidnapping and robbery case plays out. As Kevin Reese reports, prosecutors say the artist and his crew held Gucci Mane at gunpoint at a music studio in Dallas.
They held the federal hearing on the 16th floor in the smallest courtroom in the Earl Cabell Federal Building. Not enough room for Lontrell Williams' family and supporters, and a hallway full of journalists who listened through an open door for the more than 1 hour probable cause hearing. Prosecutors allege the rapper known as Pooh Shiesty and a crew from Memphis confronted rapper Radrick Davis, known as Gucci Mane, held him at gunpoint and demanded he release Williams from his recording contract this past January. 8 other alleged co-conspirators, including Williams' father, are also in custody. But in Dallas, facing a judge on his own, Williams Jr. and his attorneys questioned why it took 3 months to bring these charges, noted that the FBI did not recover any weapons or allegedly stolen jewelry, and that the alleged violent encounter said to have happened inside a Dallas recording studio is not on any surveillance video.
The story is quite unusual, and I think that the FBI knew that. I think the investigators knew that it was unusual, and I think that's why it took so long to make the arrest.
Government prosecutors, however, argue that Williams is a flight risk, was released from federal prison just this past October after serving 3 years for gun crimes. And given conditions of his release, they allege the Memphis rapper didn't even have permission to be in Dallas. In the courtroom in a brown prison jumpsuit and shackles, Williams heard the judge rule that the evidence against him is heavy, that his lengthy criminal history is a factor, and that there is probable cause that he committed the crimes alleged in the complaint. So for now, Lontrell Williams Jr. stays in federal custody as the case against him and 8 alleged co-conspirators in a rapper feud continues. In Dallas, I'm Kevin Reese.
Jurors are considering Tanner Horner's punishment after he pleaded guilty to killing Athena Strand. Senior crime and justice reporter Rebecca Lopez was in the courtroom as jurors watched hours of footage from before her body was found.
Inside this courtroom, jurors heard the unthinkable. We want to warn you, some of the details are hard to listen to. Tanner Horner, in his own words, described how he kidnapped and killed 7-year-old Athena Strand.
I tried to break her neck, making it as quick and painless as possible, but it didn't work. She started crying.
Prosecutors played a recorded interview Horner gave Texas Rangers after his arrest. At times he was calm, at times emotional, describing the little girl's final moments.
I just tossed her in. Like, I couldn't just keep running around with the kid in the back like that. I just tossed her.
Initially, Horner, a former FedEx driver, told Rangers he was delivering a package to Athena's home when he accidentally backed up and ran over the little girl, then panicked, so he took her.
He was concerned about losing his job. He was also concerned about seeing his child and concerned about what was going to happen to him.
Jurors also watched video of Horner with Rangers driving through rural roads in a bamboo field, supposedly leading them to Athena. But investigators say he was wasting their time.
How long did this wild goose chase in the bamboo go on?
I believe almost 2 hours, close to 2 hours.
Investigators repeatedly asked him where Athena was.
We just want to make sure we find you.
Prosecutors say the whole time he was more worried about himself.
My main fear was I could lose my job, lose my source of income, the way, like.
At any point in that, did you think about just letting her out?
Horner says he thought about it but didn't let her go. Investigators say Athena's death wasn't an accident but deliberate.
I killed her.
In Fort Worth, I'm Rebecca Lopez.
A deputy was wounded and a suspect killed in a shootout as crews responded to a house fire. As Brittany Costello reports, neighbors in Burleson are still shaken up from the ordeal.
Johnson County Sheriff's deputies say they were called out here for a fire, but when they got here, they were shot at.
It happened around 3 Wednesday morning. Neighbors called police to report a home on County Road 605 was in flames. But after first responders arrived, those same neighbors heard more than a dozen gunshots. The Department of Public Safety says a deputy was injured. They say they found 75-year-old William James Rogers, the man who lived there, with a gun. He was killed in the gunfire. We talked to a longtime neighbor who did not want to show her face, but she says her neighbor had been struggling after losing his wife. Before that, she remembers him being happy and kind.
I just feel so bad because he was such a nice man. It's just sad to look over there and there's no house anymore. It's gone. They're gone. He's gone. It's a shame.
A deputy was taken to the hospital with minor injuries but has since been released. This investigation is being handed over to the Texas Rangers. In Johnson County, I'm Brittany Costello.
The Dallas City Council is moving forward with plans to recognize April 10th as Dolores Huerta Day. Recent allegations claim Cesar Chavez sexually abused women and underage girls. He co-founded the United Farm Workers with Huerta, and the council just voted to recognize her with Dolores Huerta Day this Friday, which marks her 96th birthday. Southwest Airlines is increasing its baggage fees less than a year after it scrapped the iconic Bags Fly Free policy. Tiffany Liu reports on how the airline is trying to adjust to a challenging time.
Definitely the excess fees are noticeable.
Your plane ticket might say one price, but it's possible that's not what you're paying.
Of course, everything's going to get passed on to the consumer, obviously.
These days, the cost of flying goes beyond the seat.
Fuel costs are through the roof, that we know, so it's a double-edged sword. What are you going to do?
Airlines are raising check bag fees, adding to a growing list of charges travelers now face.
Southwest Airlines has joined Delta, United, and JetBlue in increasing its check bag fees.
For Southwest, it's a $10 hike. The first bag will cost $45 and the second $55.
That's actually a 28% increase on the price of the first check bag fee.
Travel expert Henry Hardevelt says the fees are no accident.
One of their top expenses, jet fuel, has become twice as expensive. The airline can't be expected to absorb that entire increase.
The higher cost of check bags is how to stay competitive.
It's going to take a long time for jet fuel prices to return to those lower levels we saw before the war in Iran began.
With Dallas-based Southwest Airlines, the shift is especially noticeable.
And in fact, they will probably only call more attention to the fact that they abandoned their two free check bag policy last year.
Travelers say the difference between airlines is getting harder to see.
Oh God, for 10 plus years, everywhere we go, we take Southwest.
Loyalty may be worth the price.
We are card members for Southwest, so we didn't have to pay for bags this time.
While for others,
If it's the economy, if it's gas prices, I get it. It's temporary, hopefully.
what used to be included is now the added cost of flying.
To me, it really doesn't matter as long as you get me here safe. I'm cool with that.
In Dallas, I'm Tiffany Liu.
And that is the most important thing at the end of the day. And those are your headlines from North Texas.